It's green for go. They're racing. He says go. He says ta-da. And Tiger Tara rolls away from them on the home turn. Here comes another big boil over. Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more. This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode. She is a star with a capital S. It's going to be a triple treat. A miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that? It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to the Menangle Angle. We are 2 days out from the $1 million Garrard's Miracle Mile, and the excitement at Club Menangle right now is absolutely buzzing. David Wonson is leading that charge. How are you today, Wano?
Yeah, I'm buzzing, Jess. 48 hours away from this great race. So many people are talking about it. Sometimes with these great races, you sort of know how they're going to play out. No one knows how this is going to play out for the first 200 metres. And these horses, Leap to Fame, Swayze, they have to go to the well. They can't leave the cheap speed in the race, which happens sometimes. They want to be the toughest. They want to be the last man standing. It's just got all the makings for a great race. And the rest of the race meeting's fantastic. Really, really excited about the whole race meeting.
Well, the TAB Carnival of Miracles got underway last Saturday night, and that was headlined by the Cordina Chicken Farms Chariots of Fire, which was taken out by Bay of Biscay, the fourth winner on the card for Emma Stewart, and what a great race that it turned out to be.
Yeah, a deserved winner, Bay of Biscay. He come second in the Eureka. He stood up, another 149. That's, two consecutive 49s for Bay of Biscay. So thoroughly deserving. Surprising he didn't take the Miracle Mile run, but it was bound to happen one day. And we have a race called the Eureka worth $2 million, so you can sort of understand their thinking that. Maybe, I don't know, why you're going good, you go in these races, but totally understand the owners' desire to wait for some other races later in the year. Some nice horses, up-and-coming horses, Charge Ahead, Major Hot, they all done their best, and we're going to talk about one that come fourth, I think, just in a second.
We sure will be talking about our Luciano in a second, but a massive show coming up. We've lined up some very, very incredible guest, headlined by Kate Gath, who takes the reins aboard Catch a Wave. We'll also be speaking to Will Rickson, who'll be driving Max Delight in the Garrard's Miracle Mile. It'll be his first drive in a Miracle Mile, so a very special moment in his career. Fred Hastings is going to join us again to give us three of his best for the card, and it's going to be an action-packed show, Wano, so let's get stuck straight into it. Well, I'll kick us off with the best thing that we saw this week at Club Menangle, and for me, I've just mentioned it in the opener there, but it was the 4 wins by Emma Stewart on the card. In particular, the clean sweep of the Derby heats as well, with those 3 heat winners driven by Mark Pitt. And I think what was most notable to me was actually that those 3 winners were sired by horses that Emma and Clayton had trained themselves. So the highlight reel and also Silver Pistol, they're both by Poster Boy, and Storms Collide is by the Storm Inside. So that's a really incredible feat, and they're going to be lining up 6 chances in the Derby final this Saturday night. So a great effort from the Tonkin Stewart barn.
Yeah, that was a definite standout. And what's really good, you're throwing horses like King of Swing and that, our local product, our local stallions. Yeah, I'm glad people are starting to put some faith in it. Poster Boy was bred to be a sire. King of Swing's bred to be a sire. And we've got some other ones that are coming through the grades now, that one day the Leap to Fames, and that'll be at stud. So, I really think it's a great thing for the industry that we're starting to lean back on some of our own sires. And hopefully it's something that continues in the future.
And what's the best thing you saw this week at Club Menangle?
Oh, look, you know what I've seen? I've seen people standing up and cheering a horse coming back to scale, and that was Swayze. And that was so good. It wasn't pressure. People weren't asked to do it. People stood up, and I looked back in the grandstand, and people were clapping this horse as he come back to scale. I think Cameron Hart even raised his hand because they were. That's what these 2 horses bring. Whatever happens on Saturday, as I said, I think it'll be last man standing on Saturday. But I can assure you, if they put on the performance we're expecting him to, everyone will be standing up down the home straight cheering, and everyone will be standing up as they come back to scale.
There is just star power right throughout that Garrard's Miracle Mile field. It's going to be an incredible night here on track, and I can't wait to see that field of 8 horses set to line up. Well, sectional stars, I found one sectional star from last Saturday night's meeting. I was very impressed with Kingmaker last week as well, but From the Chariots of Fire, race 7, we mentioned him earlier on. In 4th place, our Luciano for James Rattray. He come out of barrier 10. I think he ended up about 5 fence there. And
he was last on the turn.
There was plenty of traffic coming into the home straight, but he reeled off a 52.3 last half.
52.3?
52.3. That was the quickest last half of the race. He also went the quickest 4th quarter of the race, and that was 25.5.
And this is not Des standing up in the grandstand with his stopwatch. This is GPS trackers.
This is GPS trackers. So they're on the saddle cloth. They're as accurate as they come for getting those times correct.
52.3.
52.3, and he's run 4th in the Chariots. He lines up in race 1 this Saturday night, drawn 1 over the mile. And I think he's currently around the $2.10, $2.30 quote with the TAB. So he's one that I'll be keen to see, and I might mention him as well in my best bets later on, so stay tuned for that. Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, Warno, our very first special guest is joining us on the phone from Victoria today. It's Kate Gath. She takes the reins aboard Catch a Wave in this Saturday night's Garage Miracle Mile, and he'll be looking to become a dual champion of that race. Kate, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. You have a fantastic book of drives on Saturday night's card as well. You must be looking forward to getting back up here to Club Menangle.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have got, quite a number of handy drives, albeit from bad draws, but we're just happy to be in the race.
Yeah, Kate, we've given you the visitors' draws, haven't we, in a couple of these major races. I think you're the widest in about 3 of them. Is that right? 3 of the Group 1s, you're the widest barrier.
That is correct. You haven't been kind to me at all. And just for good measure, Tango Tara due outside the front in the Geelong Cup tomorrow night as well. So
it's not just you then. The Victorians give it to you as well. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things,
Hey, just on Catch a Wave, let's go to him first. The horse loves this track. He's got some great victories here. Chariots of Fire, Miracle Mile, Len Smith Mile. How did he pull up after last week? Because that run was amazing. I don't know what his last quarter was. It was probably a 25 second. But how did he pull up and how has he come up this week?
Yeah, he pulled up really well. Because it was so humid there and warm last week, I was like, oh gosh, travelling him back and then having to, go back again. But it's the way we always do it, and it's worked so far. So, we still did. But he was, he was bouncing Monday morning, and he fast worked yesterday, and I wasn't planning on doing a whole lot with him because obviously the tough run, a solid run last week. And, he was just, he felt terrific, and he was really good. So he's travelled up well, and he's feeling really good this morning. So it looks like things are exactly how you want them at this stage.
We just touched on the bad barrier draws that you've come up with this Saturday night, but Tex, as he's known around the barn, he's come up with barrier 9 but will come out of 8 should the emergencies not be required. What were your thoughts when you were watching the barrier draw?
Oh, I know that was tough. I was watching it. I wish I wasn't. I didn't even get nervous before races, but I was feeling a few nerves before the 2 numbers that were left. Obviously, 1
and 9, weren't they? Yeah.
I know, and look, that's just the way.
Blame her.
We were just happy that she was that she would draw it for us because we didn't have anyone there. So, but look, that's just the way things go, and no horse has been able to win from there, so that's good. No pressure. Then, hey, the odds are are stacked against him, but you have to be in it to win it, as we saw with What's Up Party Time in the Great Southern Star. So we're just happy to be in the race, and we'll need a whole lot of luck to be able to be up there at the finish in that sort of race. But he is very well, and sometimes he can do things that are pretty good.
Well, touching on What's Up Party Time, as we know, I think it was 100-1 into 100-1 from the heat into the final. He's always had ability, that horse. He just done everything on the right night, didn't he? I know he then done a little mistake, but he bounced back last start. This is a really, really strong field. I'm really excited with this race. I know once again you've drawn wide, but that might take the pressure off him a little bit because we know the locomotive takes no prisoners. Yeah,
it's a super strong race, honestly, barrier. Yeah, that barrier wasn't great either. I had to get him back in the draw, and we trialled him and made sure we got him back in the draw.
Right.
I was the draw there. So, I told Andy not to bother. I said it would be a waste of time. No, but then we drew it there because he does really love the sprint trip. Like, I do think he races best over that. And to be honest, like in the Great Southern Star going into the race, I actually may have said to Andy, "Why is this horse in this race?" But anyway, and
just what you want to hear from your driver before a big race.
Oh my goodness! I was like, I was a little stunned. Anyway, in the heat, he was so good sitting parked, and he ran through the line terrific. And I thought his, run was really good under the circumstances. Like Queen Alada sat on his back, couldn't get near him, and Kiyang Chucky couldn't run him down. So his run was really good in the heat. But then going into the final, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence either. And I feel bad for saying it now, but Brad Hewitt said after my heat how good What's Up Party Time went, and I said, "Oh yeah, can you throw me a tow rope for the final?"
Oh really? Well, you did.
and then I come out and ran past him, and I felt so bad. I was like,
"Why? Don't feel bad."
So we didn't have a whole lot of confidence, even though we were happy with the heat. We didn't have a whole lot of confidence going into the final because we thought they'd, probably run a whole lot quicker, even though the other heat went quick. The first one, we still thought they'd run along. And, so it's just one of those things, and he hit the line good both times, and he went really well. So, obviously, from the draw this week, it's going to be very hard. So, I'll just be happy if he runs a really good race because it's a strong field, like you said, and it's going to be very hard from out there.
In the New South Wales Derby final, you've picked up the drive on I Am the Storm for Emma Stewart. He's drawn barrier 12, but he ran second in his heat, and he found the line very, very strongly.
Yeah, he's got a horror draw as well, hasn't he, in a super, super strong field. So I have driven him before. He's a nice little horse. He'll have his work cut out from out there, but happy to have the drive in it. And once again, we won't have to worry about too much there. Just take the shortcuts and try and get run.
I suppose it's not a race to be taken lightly. The Australian Light Horse Free For All, it's a $100,000 race. You've had a little bit of luck on Don't Stop Dreaming. Finally got a good barrier here. Barrier 2, he's right into this, isn't he? He done a little bit tough last week, but hopefully he's bounced back.
Yeah, I think so. I think this race is, he's right in this race, and yeah, I think he's probably, close to one of my best chance for the night. So he's a lovely horse, and his runs were terrific leading up to last week. So I think he'll be, run a really good race. Be hard to beat.
In race 8 on the card, then it's the Group 3 Sapling Stakes for the 2-year-olds, and you're taking the reins aboard Show Me the Tan Lines for Adam Kelly. He's arrived from New Zealand, and he had one trial down there at Melton, and he looked very impressive in that trial.
Yeah, he was. Look, he didn't have, really any opposition, but his time was solid, and he did it really well under himself. Like, he was by no means under any pressure doing that. It felt like he was sort of just, in second gear, and it's really good going into a race like this. But, it won't be easy. I mean, they'll probably have to go 52 or something like that. So he'll have to have, trialled like he did to be up into this race. It's tricky because, like we said earlier, there's a lot of horses in it that, have just won one race, and it's hard to line them up. But he's a really nice horse, and I think he'll keep getting better. He's quite a big horse. And, but I really liked him in the trial, and I think he'll run a good race.
Kate, you'd be your drives, going through them, just talking to you, you'd be the envy of a lot of drivers throughout Australia. Fantastic lineup of drives this week. I know there's a couple of bad barriers, but at least you're in them. Look, you've driven 58 Group 1 winners. There's a few, you're driving in 3 this week. Look, there's a little birdie told me that you do like a shop. So if you have a little bit of luck this week and you've driven the winners of over $25 million, I suppose the answer everyone wants to hear, if you're going to reward yourself, are you going to buy Andy a new wardrobe?
He's good at, he's old. He doesn't matter. Like he can just, he can just look after himself, guys. I don't need to worry about that. Like, but yeah. There's currently nothing on the wish list. Like, I've had a pretty good run the last few years, so I'm kind of being a little bit careful at the moment. But
there's always a wish list. There's always a wish list.
If I won the Miracle Mile by chance of a miracle, there may be something that I'm sure I could find that I could reward myself with. But aside from that, I'm going to be good, and I'm going to be careful, and I'm not going to. I'll just be happy with the winner. But if it's the Miracle Mile, it's very, very, very tempting
very good.
not to buy something that's a great investment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Kate, it's been wonderful to speak with you today. Best of luck on Saturday night, and we can't wait to see you up here for the Garrard's Miracle Mile.
Look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Look forward to catching up, Kate.
Wano, our second special guest, is going to line up for his very first drive in a Miracle Mile this Saturday night. Will Rickson, how are you today?
Hey, Jess. Hey, Wano. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you.
Hey, mate, we've just rung you, and ups pop with the Will Ricksons, ups pops a giraffe. Is that right? Is that your face with the phone number?
Yeah, I did put a giraffe there.
It's come up with a big giraffe.
Yeah, I did do that a little while ago for a bit of a laugh. And,
well, it's still on me phone.
I might even had a couple of drinks when I did it, and then got a couple of people to ring and just never got rid of it. You do get a couple of people that ring you randomly and ask what the hell it's doing there. But
that's good. You've got a bit of height about you.
Yeah, well, I have got a couple of similarities to a giraffe, so I'm running with it at the moment.
Well, Will, as I mentioned, you're going to be lining up for your very first drive in a Garrard's Miracle Mile this Saturday night. How were you when you found out the news that Max Delight has received a wild card, and how has the week played out for you since?
To be honest, I was probably relieved was the main thing I felt. I was really happy with his run, but I was just a little stressed that we ended up running fourth. I would have loved to run, well, obviously top two would have been great, but I would have loved to run third. I would have felt like it was pretty well definite to get a wild card if that was the case. I didn't really know how to feel after it. I obviously knew it was still going to be a good chance of getting in, but once that we knew that was official, I guess you could say just felt relieved, and then sort of there on in, I was just excited, to be honest.
Yeah, I know you're up there at the training facility, so you've been in close contact with Akey. How is the horse this week?
Yeah, I seen him on the lead on the backtrack there, must have been on Wednesday, and he looked, he was bucking around and had his head on his chest, and all his horses look amazing, and Max is the same. You wouldn't really know that the racing he's been doing, the way he holds himself, and I'm really confident that he's going to be there. On fresh legs, Akey keeps him pretty fresh, and he looks amazing, and he's fit and healthy. So I think he's bounced through it really good.
Yeah, he's a great conditioner, David Aiken. No stranger to winning a Miracle Mile, mate. I remember you being a kid, 2008, the last Miracle Mile conducted at Harold Park. There with a kid with the little tie on, and your sisters there enjoying it. I remember your dad said, doesn't matter what he does in harness racing anymore. He's won a Miracle Mile. His harness racing journey is complete with winning a Miracle Mile. Do you ever replay that amongst the family or relive it, or does your dad just say how good he was?
Yeah, he comes up all the time. He's it's so special. Like every time you watch the replay, I can't help but get goosebumps, and even just like you talking about him, and it's the same thing. It's such a special race, and I know Dad always, if the watcher comes around for a big money, and someone asks him if he's buying tickets for it, he always says, "No, I've already won it. I don't need to.
Yes.
I don't need to buy the lottery because I had a horse like him and we were able to win that race." So, it was just I would have liked to have been a little bit older to remember a little bit more of the night, but just he's so special, and what an incredible horse, and Dad just had him spot on all the time, and he drove him an absolute treat that night. If I can bring out a drive like that on Saturday night, I'll be more than happy. So, it's very special.
Well, he's come up with barrier 6. He'll move into barrier 5 should the emergencies not be required. What were your thoughts when you were at the barrier draw?
I thought the draw could have been a touch better, but I also thought it could have been a lot worse as well. He was one of the first ones to come out. So once, sort of Swayze come into one, Leap to Fame was wider, and then Don Hugo in between. Well, I thought, geez, this is a race sort of thing, which it already was beforehand. But I think it's not a bad draw. We've got options there early, and as Aki said when they interviewed him after it, there's no real pressure. We can find our spot, and I'll try and give him the best trip as possible. But we get a chance to probably enjoy it, and I don't think it's a bad draw.
Yeah, talking to Aki before the race, I'm sure he's going to fill you with confidence. If there's one person you want to talk before a big race, Jess, it'd be David Aiken. I'm sure he'll fill Will with plenty of confidence going into the race. Mate, we've got some other drives there on Saturday night. It's just, of course, it's all about Max, but there's some other drives that you're engaged in. And the first one of those in race 1, number 11, Outside Fighter. Outside draw there, Outside Fighter. It's not a bad little race. What's his chances there?
Yeah, he's a really good race, and he's actually run a really good race on Tuesday. His last section was 26.3 and come wide and run a really good second. So I think he's got an outside place chance in a really hot field with a bit of luck. So he's never far away. So he'll just need the splits at the right time.
In race 2, it's the JL Wraith Memorial for those 3-year-old fillies, and you're partnering with your dad, Peter, here, and gonna reload. She had a fantastic 2-year-old season. She won 5 from 7 starts. I know that she's known as Barbie around the stable, so I bet you'll be hoping that the Barbie party can arrive in this Group 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited to have her back at the races. She's a favourite of mine and the family's, and
there's a really good group of owners with this too, isn't there?
Yeah.
They get very excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, they love her.
Yeah, there's always a big group that come along with Gunner Reload. Only thing with this race, Will, a lot of these are really, really classy fillies. It's a really good field, but a lot of them are resuming, aren't they?
Yeah, it's an interesting race. And she's been, I thought last year there wasn't a lot between Ricky Outson's filly and our filly, and they've been trialling up together, and it sort of seems a little bit that way again this year, and it sort of looks to have the draw on us on Saturday night. And I got a lot of respect for Cool and Classy. I think she's a filly with a huge future for Grant Dixon, and Michael Stanley's filly the other day was very impressive. So it's very open, but at the same time I wouldn't trade our filly. We really like her, and Mum and Dad have been really happy with her work. So, we just might need a little bit of luck in that race, but definitely excited to have her back at the races.
That's good to hear. In the third, you got Was a Heat Seeker. I know David Aiken was a little bit disappointed to miss a run in the sprints. Once again, a nice field, drawn mid-range there, but this horse got a lot of ability over the 2300. Going forward in this one?
Yeah, probably. It seems to be his racing pattern. Like this horse, and it is a really strong race, as they all are on Saturday night. It's amazing to be the sort of the third division behind the Miracle Mile, the White Horse Free For All. Then you get a race like this where there's horses in it that wouldn't be out of place. In a White Horse Free For All. It's a really strong race. So he's just going to need the right trip, whether we get him up forward early or find him a nice helmet into the race. But he's definitely not without a chance, but really impressed with the way Luke McCarthy's horse has been racing in that race, and the janitor also is going to take a bit of beating.
In the final race on the card, we see the mares take centre stage in the Baby Bling Stakes, and you're driving I'm Prezi Bell again for your dad, Peter. How do you rate her chances in this field?
Yeah, she's going to need the right trip, and we just probably look to see her run a little bit of a more of an improved race. She just hasn't quite finished off the way we would have liked her last couple of starts, but Dad's had a sort of looked over and been really happy with her work. So, if we can, have a soft grip and hit the line and sort of be happy, I keep smiling. Looks awfully hard to beat in that race.
Yeah, she probably is. Your dad's going to be very impressed with me with this race placement being the last race at 10:53. I know where he'd probably prefer to be at 10:53. And it's not in the last race at Menangle, maybe. But talking about your dad, Will, as we see a lot of drivers throughout the history of the sport follow their family into the sport, and Jess, I've got to say, there's always parents looking after their kids, always say, no, don't be in harness racing. We want you to go and get a degree, or we want you to go and get a trade. But as a young bloke there, Will, I know you're always at the trots, but your dad and mum sent you down to my place, it might have been, or Cindy's place for a weekend once, where you were burgeoning rugby league career. And there was myself and Jacko and a few others, and we went and played football on the beach. I think after that afternoon, you decided harness racing mightn't be a bad option.
Yeah, I did go to St. Greg's, which is a very good sporting school. Thought that I had the potential to get to a rugby league career, and then I sort of run at a couple of people when I was in the B grade team on the wing, and couldn't really dodge the guys. They took me out of the sideline pretty easily, and I guess that's why I got the draft there, because I'm not really built for the footy scene. So yeah, it was a bit of fun, but yeah, no, it was never really anything else for me, to be honest. I was just mad on it growing up, and very passionate about the sport. Yeah, I think they tried to sort of lead me away a little bit, but
he put you on the tools, didn't he? He put you on the tools, didn't he?
That just didn't work out either.
Yeah. He was always on the tab app on his dad's phone, I think.
Yeah, no, well, it was just bad timing, because I left school at the St. Greg's. You had to have a trade to leave in Year 10, and harness racing wasn't going to cut it at that stage to leave. So I used Dad to get out of there. But yeah, at that time I got my licence just to drive in races. So
it was great
that's
timing.
all I wanted to do.
Great timing then.
So that didn't last. So yeah.
Oh, and your mum being a Turnbull, like, it's pretty hard to stay away from harness
bred
racing.
Into it.
Yeah.
There was never going to be anything
Will be
else.
a $200,000 yearling at the Nutrien or the APG sale, that's for sure.
A sale topper.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe on the book, but it's as a type, I don't know if I'm bringing that sort of money.
Modest as well.
Oh, very good.
Will, it's been great to catch up with you today. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you luck with the week ahead as you come into this Saturday night's Garrard's Miracle Mile with Max Delight.
Thanks heaps, Jeff and Mono. I can't wait for the night, and hopefully we can have a little bit of luck.
All the best, mate.
Thank you.
David Wonson, our final guest on today's The Menangle Angle. He's a very close friend of our podcast here, and he's going to be laying the soundtrack to this Saturday night's Garrard's Miracle Mile. Freddie Hastings, how are you today?
Hello, Jess. G'day, Wano. Yeah, counting down the sleeps. There's only 2 more sleeps until we hit Saturday, and so far, looking at the weather forecast, guys, the weather gods look like they might play nice for us in terms of what we might get dished up on Saturday.
Yeah, every day it seems to be getting a little bit better. They don't know, but every day is getting a little bit better. Thoughts are definitely for those people up there in the Brisbane Gold Coast area. I know they've called all off the races for the next 4 days, but yeah, that's nothing compared to what some of those people may be going through. So thoughts to all those people up there. But yeah, the weather gods, hopefully they look like they're clearing up here, Freddie, and we're going to have some good weather here on Saturday.
Well, the racing is just phenomenal. What we've got, the Miracle Mile, I have said it, that I think in my tenure as the chief commentator in Sydney, this is the best Miracle Mile lineup I've seen. When you across the board and you look at what these horses have achieved, you might get, in past years, maybe 2, maybe 3 standouts. And bear in mind, this year we don't have the Chariots winner competing, and you've still got horses that have won into Dominions, Miracle Miles, Eurekas, Derbies, Chariots, a fire winner as well, thrown in there as well. It's just a phenomenal race. Probably the only thing, as I said, we might be missing is this year's Chariots winner, but it's being saved for obviously for bigger fish later in the year, Wano.
Yeah, and look, there's a guest selection in the racebook this week. There's about 10 different guest selectors, and I think it's like 4-3-3 amongst the big 3 of winning the race. Yep. That's how even and how, I suppose, how even the race looks. What's really
difficult it is to... Yeah.
No one knows how it's going to pan out early. What's really interesting, Leap to Fame has started in the black twice in the last 12 months, and they've both been in a Miracle Mile. Last year he was nearly $3. He opened up at about $2.70 after the barrier draw. I know he's into about $2.20, $2.30, but just to think that's how even this race is. A horse like Leap to Fame can be as I said, nearly 2-1 in their early offerings.
Takes you back to the old days when that was the case with field of 6 at Harold Park, where you'd get, maybe it might be 5-4 the field, but I know he was crunched severely as soon as the barrier draw dust settled. Went out initially to that 270 mark and got as low as 220. So there's a lot of smart money, Jess, to say that Leap to Fame is going to be the one to beat on Saturday.
It really has. And since that barrier draw, we've just seen some horses really crunched early and moving back out. So there's plenty in the market play. But Freddie, it's a very wide open card across the board. Have you been able to come up with a best of the night?
Okay, I think I'm really keen to get the money early. There's a couple I like here, guys, that I think crazy odds perhaps at this stage. So it might be one of those bet early to avoid disappointment moments. I think our Luciano in the first race, its run in the Chariots was sensational. I know it's taking on, some of the seasoned campaigners, that's for sure. But I really think he's a horse on the up, our Luciano. He's really adapted to the Menangle style of racing under James Rattray's tutelage, and that's nothing unusual. We saw him, we saw what he did with Bowtide once he had that horse come up here, and a few others since. So I think our Luciano this morning, or just before I looked, before we come on air, it was $2.30. And I think that's incredible price for a horse. Drawing barrier 1, and that old system, race 1, number 1 might be to the 4.
Well, Fred, our Luciano actually opened at $3.10. So
you got on, Freddie. You're on already.
Look, I can't comment on that, but all I can say is it might be a nice Chinese meal, a succulent Chinese meal on Sunday evening.
Succulent Chinese meal.
I can tell you that horse also featured in our sectional stars segment, and he may be featuring in my best bet of the night as well coming up.
He was last on the turn,
He was.
Performance.
And Freddie, your next best on the card?
Again, I'm talking about a horse that I think probably, it's a quality field. There's no doubt about it. But on what we saw Oscar Bonavina do, and Oscar Bonavina was $2.50 when I most recently looked. Barrier 1, there'll be an element of emotion around Oscar Bonavina's racing on Saturday, as we know. Greg Sugars will carry black armbands, David, as a mark of respect, the passing of Les Purdon during the week. But I think $2.50 Barrier 1 from the mile. You look at horses, obviously, Trotter of the Year, the Locomotives in that race. Constantinople goes great for Luke. Keyang Chucky's been in outstanding form. Doff Your Caps on the way back, and what's a party time? It really is a great race, but I think 250's crazy odds, Oscar.
Well, there you go, Freddie. Just talking about the odds. Locomotive was odds on into both those great Southern Stars and a short odds on. And as I say here, there's no bad barriers, only better odds. Well, there's nothing more that highlights what the Locomotive is. Like, he's $2.70 in this race. Just because he's drawn a bit wider. I know, I'm really looking forward to this race. And if the Locomotive puts his Reeboks on, they can run some time in this with the good weather. So, yeah. But, yeah, Oscar looked good here the other night, didn't he?
He looked really comfortable in his work. He looked like that. He just really got into his work really nice. Having said that, I have amazing respect for the Locomotive, and he's a big, robust, big-chested trotter that when he gets into full momentum, he's aptly named. He is like a train when he's roaring down the straights at Menangle.
It's like me when I played football in the pre-season,
down the sideline,
200s and 400s. Yeah,
down the sideline for the Steelers. Yeah.
Very similar.
I can just see that. Yeah, rounded up by the prop forwards on the sideline.
Got rounded up by the ball boys.
but I just think the Locomotive, he is great odds of that. What you're saying is right. I just think the barrier draw has swung me the way of Oscar, and that performance at Menangle first up at the track, I'm going to stick with him, Jess, Oscar Bonavina to maybe beat the Local Hope.
Well, Fred, we've just chatted about a little bit of value there with both our Luciano and Oscar Bonavina, but have you come up with a specific value bet on Saturday's card?
Well, I know nothing shocks you guys when it comes to the way I tip, and I'm going to tip one here that I think can run a race. Doesn't have the greatest of draws, but in the free for all race 3, not the light horse free for all, but the other one in race 3 over the 2,300 metres, really good field, and I know horses like the Janitor and Kingmaker are very tight in the market. I'm going to tip one here at $16 and $3.40 to place, and I might suggest you have something each way. Just each way, has a great record, and when the races are run the right way, and I suspect this race could fall into the hands of Pete Said So.
Okay, Pete Said So.
Yeah.
I know they've been a little bit disappointed to miss runs in the sprints and free for all, but look, he's 5'3", 5'6", and it's always in top company, mate. That doesn't shock me. He can poke his head up occasionally at the big odds, so. It doesn't shock. Nothing shocks me.
I like the 340 to place and 16 the win. Now there's speed in the race. There is some speed in the race, but we know what we pretty much know. I can't see Robbie coming out and contesting. So what Robbie's going to do, and this is not me telling him how to drive. It's just my head how
I'm going to play this to him. I'm going to play it to him.
Thank you. He'll punch the pegs. Robbie will punch the pegs. He'll go back to the inside, and we know. I don't think there's a better peg hugging driver in the state than Robbie Morris, and I think Robert's going to go back to the inside on Pete Said So, and he's done it before with this horse, mind you, and he's just going to plug home. And if they're going hard early, and we know sometimes with an element of fatigue, some of the lead brigade can roll out. And pegs present, and I can see potentially the horse. As I said, I'm going to have something each way because I do like him at that 340 the drum, and he's a multi to put into your multis, your first fours, and your trifecta somewhere. But yeah, I'm going to have something on Pete Said So on an each way basis at the 16s and 340. I just can see him running a race and Robert Morris coming to the fore when it comes to peg hugging drives.
Well, this horse has made the last 3 Inter Dominion finals too, and I think he's just a touch better if he doesn't have to use him out of the gate. Sometimes when he has to do that little bit of an early burn, it takes that edge off him. But yeah, I think this is his race.
I think the barrier sort of brings that to the fore, David. You know, he's not really going to be in a position, I don't think, to contest when you've got horses like Was a Heat Seeker and a few other speedy ones like South Coast Arden, and then you've got the favourites drawn sort of in between those two speedsters. I can just see Pete going back to the pegs and, being sucked along there, and then when they turn and they all make their moves, either to come out or, as I said, with a bit of fatigue, it does happen. Horses just want to roll up the track a little bit just as they get a bit tired. I can just see Rob saying, thanks for coming, blow the whistle and scoot up on the pegs and fill a hole, maybe at 16s, cause a mini boil over.
Well, Freddie will be hoping that we can see a Robert Morris specialty there on Saturday night with Pete Said So as your value bet. But you've been absolutely on fire lately with your tips. Colonia Courage at about $61. You must have been cheering at home.
Well, it was on the Tuesday meeting. Its run Penrith on the Thursday was just unbelievable. It just had more checks
at
than a
100
bank
to 1
teller.
as well. At 100 to 1 at Penrith.
Yeah, and it's come. Now I looked at the fields and the markets on Tuesday morning, and Colonia Courage in that race on Tuesday, it was 126 the win and 45 the place. And I sat there and thought, gee, I should throw a lazy something on this because its run was huge, and I put it in my little black book to keep an eye next time it races, at Penrith and or at Menangle. But I didn't expect it would be in a race that had, I guess, that consolation for those that missed a run in the better grade race on the Saturday. Horses like Mac Da Vinci, Firefox and company. So I decided to sit out, but I gave it a real big push on Sky when Marto crossed and was waxing lyrical about its chances at odds. This mightn't be the race for it, but it wouldn't hurt to throw something on. Yeah, and this idiot on the other end of the line here decided not to throw something on, and it officially started at 61. So when I was talking about it, it was 100. Someone's had something on, so bless them and good luck to them, but it wasn't me.
We'll see what sort of car you pull up in on Saturday anyway.
We'll hope that winning form can continue with your tipping, Freddie, on Saturday night.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Menangle Angle, and good luck with your calls on Saturday night. We can't wait to hear you in action at the Garrard's Miracle Mile.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me on, and to all that are contesting the race and the other races, it's a great card, and those that are attending, have a great night.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, it's been great to speak just then with Kate, Will and Fred, but as we do each week, we're going to get stuck into a massive race-by-race preview for our 9-race card of night 2 of the TAB Carnival of Miracles. The first race gets underway at 6:20pm. It's a national rating up to 90 here. The Access Group Solution Stakes. And, well, we mentioned number 1 in the sectional stars, our Luciano. Those times that he reeled off in that final half were just incredible in the Chariots of Fire. I think he is going to be very, very hard to beat. But there's also 2 very impressive 4-year-olds dashing for Luke McCarthy and Better Knuckle Up in particular. He ran 4th the Hondo Graddon a few weeks ago and he finished 7th in the Chariots, but his run in the Hondo Graddon Stakes definitely suggests that he's going to be a fancy in this too.
Yeah, I had a different tip, but you just mentioned before 52-3, El Luciano. That's it. He's my tip.
You've changed.
Number 1, El Luciano.
Race 2 is the Ultra Air JL Wraith Memorial. It's a Group 3 event for the 3-year-old fillies, and there is star power right throughout this field. We see Sugar Pie Honey drawn barrier 3 for Ricky Ouchen and Ashley DeLosa. She was last year's 2-year-old filly Breeders' Challenge winner. Soho Americano, she's won her past 3 starts for Michael Stanley, but cool and classy for Grant Dixon. As the name would suggest, she is a very, very classy filly. 7 wins from 8 starts with already over 232,000 in the bank. She won the Sunshine Stars and the Triad Fillies final as a 2-year-old, and I think she's the one to beat.
Look, Wraith Memorial, time on an event. When you look at a race order and you look at what races are going to attract turnover, you usually put them up at the top of your program. This is an outstanding race, a great bunch of fillies. Interesting though, a lot of them are resuming from a spell. So that's why I'm going to lean towards Soho Americano. Had a good win here last start. I just think with that fitness under its belt may prove the difference in the last half of furlong. But yeah, really hard to rush. Sugar Pie, Honey Pie, cool and classy. Gonna reload. Some really, really good fillies in this. But yeah, Soho Americano, just because it's been racing.
Race 3 is the Bubba Gump Pest Control Free-for-All over the 2,300-metre distance. And it's the second division to the light horse free-for-all here. And we see some horses that went around in the sprint qualifiers last week, being in Curly James. He's drawn barrier 1. The Janitor, he's drawn 4 there for Chantel Turpin and Cameron Hart. We saw him go sub 150 on this very track a few weeks ago. Can he repeat that performance here? Kingmaker as well. He was an impressive winner last start. Was a heat seeker.
Sectional star, Kingmaker.
He was a sectional star. Was a heat seeker for David Aiken and Will Rickson. And I know Freddie Hastings, he also was very keen at a value play on Pete's Said So draw 9.
Yeah, well, I'm going with Freddie. Pete said so each way. Like the 2,300, if there's plenty of speed on, it's a testing distance for these horses. Yeah, I don't mind Freddie's tip here. If Murray can get down there, get on the peg somewhere, go to sleep for 1,000 metres, he could play a big part in this. I know he's been disappointed to miss out on some of these races, so Pete said so. Time to stand up, buddy.
Race 4 is the first of our Group 1 features on Saturday night's card. It's the Slingsby Holdings New South Wales Derby final over the 2,400 metre distance. And like I mentioned in the best thing I saw this week, Emma Stewart, she's lining up 6 of the 10 starters. That is an absolute incredible feat to have that many horses qualified. And we saw how impressive they were here last Saturday night, but back on earlier in February, we saw Always Hot, and he took the path through the Simpson Memorial in that he won that event and then gained the automatic invitation, which is accepted. He's drawn barrier 10 there, but there's another runner that I'm quite keen on for Grant Dixon, drawn barrier 2, Fade Awaits. I thought he was really strong to the line in the heats too. Yeah,
look, amazing effort, 6 horses. I think they had about 4 in the chariots as well. Imagine going down to their barn every day and looking at those 3 and 4-year-olds putting their heads out over the stable door. But yeah, I'm a little bit like you. Fade Awaits, he was strong last week, and this is his third run back from a spell. It could be a really, really big night for Grant Dixon. Really hard to tip against the Stewards. They're always hot. Superstar. They put him in the same vein as Ride High. Now, if he brings that Ride High form, he went through there probably 2 years ago. God, that's going to be hard to beat. Greg Sugar's got the drive. I know he's got a big opinion. And the highlight reel, well, one of the dominant 2-year-olds from last year. He had plenty of stars around him last year, and Mark Pitts stayed loyal because he could have driven only one of the three, I suppose, and he stayed there. So, yeah, really good race, but maybe 2 fade away. It's Grant Dixon. He's a nice horse.
Race 5 is the Yabby Dam Farms Hammerhead Trotters Mile to be run at Group 1 level here, and there's a $25,000 bonus on offer should the winner of that event break the track record in a mile of 151.5. So plenty at stake for these square gators to go around, but what a lineup of square gators that this field has attracted. In number 1 there we see Oscar Bonavina for Mark and Nathan Purden. He couldn't have impressed more at his first Menangle start last time out. London to a brick for James Rattray is there in 3. And then out wider we see last year's Inter Dominion trotting champion, the Locomotive. He's in 9. And the Great Southern Star winner, What's Up Party Time, drawn the car park there in 10 for Andy and Kate Gaff.
Yeah, amazing race. I'm really looking forward to this race. I think they're going to run some time. As I said, the weather gods are going to be good, and we're going to have some good weather. The track's going to be fast. I'm a Locomotive fan. He's just got mile written all over him. He won't zip out 3 lengths in front. He just keeps going, and it's like he gains momentum. And more often than not, you'll see his second quarter is actually faster than his first quarter, and then Brad just sits back and lets the horse do his stuff. They're going to have to be really, really good to beat him. I know Oscar Bonavina is good. We're so lucky to have 3 or 4 of the best trotters in Australasia here. And there's a horse that won the Great Southern Star heat and final. What's Up Party Time? He's probably going to be up 50 to 1, 60 to 1 again in this race. That's how good it is. So I wouldn't write off Key Young Chucky, but I like Locomotive.
I'm jumping on the train with you there and sticking with the Locomotive. Toot toot. Race 6 is the Ainsworth Australian Light Horse Free for All to be run at Group 2 level over the 2,300 metres. Unfortunately, we've seen the scratching of number 12 there in It's Merlin, who took out this event last year, but still a very exciting field set to contest this event. And you'd have to think that the 2 emergencies for the Miracle Mile are going to be key contenders in this. Number 1, Sure Thing Captain for Shannon Price and Adam Sanderson. And also number 7, Bulletproof Boy for Scotty Ewan. He went fantastic in those qualifiers last Saturday.
I'm still laughing over the toot. Sorry.
Am I going to regret saying that?
I'm composing myself here. Anyway, toot. I'm going a bit different. Yes, of course, there are reasons there are emergencies because they went really good last week. Bulletproof Boy, Sure Thing Captain in the Newcastle Mile. You know who I really liked the run of was I'm the Falcon. He finished 5th. If you watch him, he got held up a little bit. He got beat 6 metres in the sprint last week, and he monstered the line. I think there's a little bit of each-way value, and I'm the Falcon. I know it's probably not the way I'd normally go, but I did like the way he hit the line for Grimo and Jack Callahan. If he runs like that again this week, watch out.
I'm going to throw another one into play as well, and that's Don't Stop Dreaming, draw number 2 for Mark and Nathan Purden, and Kate Gaff will take the reins, who we spoke to earlier on in the show. But back over the longer trip, I think he'll really suit that, and I think he could find the line quite nicely from that low barrier draw. Race 7 is the race we've all been talking about. It's the Garrard's Miracle Mile Grand Circuit event, $1 million in prize money, and where do we even begin with this field? Swayze, we saw him take out the qualifier last week, and I'm convinced there's nothing he can't do, whether it's winning over that longer trip at Addington or here at the Menangle Mile. He's just such a dominant player for Jason Grimson and Cam Hart. Last year's Eureka and Inter Dominion champion Don Hugo, well, he couldn't have impressed more last time out, the way Luke took him to the front and then he just kept powering onto the line. Sooner the better for Barry Purden and Scott Phelan and Gav Fitzpatrick to take the reins again. He was the runner-up to Leap to Fame last year. Can he go one better this year? Captain Ravishing, he was dazzled in the qualifier last week to finish 3rd. $1 million max delight for David Aiken and Will Rickson. It's going to be a very special moment for Will lining up in his first Miracle Mile. Tact McLeod, gate speed to burn. Larry, leap to fame. We can't wait to see him try to defend his title on Saturday night and catch a wave for Andy and Kate Gath. He is the 2023 champion. Can he become a dual champion this year?
Yeah, amazing race. It's just so exciting. And as I said, the barrier draws even made it more exciting. I've said it before, Swayze and Leap to Fame, they're just going to not leave anything out there. And by doing that, then no one's going to have anything left in the tank. I've got to say, Don Hugo's run last week, he stepped up. If anyone had any doubt about him, he dispelled that last week. He's come from barrier 10, he sat parked, he went 48 against quality horse flesh, and he was dominant. That puts him right on the footstep of these other two. Now, if Swayze and Leap to Fame get into that dogfight, if Swayze gets off, and I'm sure Cameron will at some stage, and they get into that dogfight, and you've got a horse like Don Hugo, so he's going to be a serious play coming down the straight, because I'm sure all three of them have got a 47 in them. Leap to Fame last year, remember, he was $3. Like I'm going to boast that, I tipped him at $3 last year. The world's best horse. It's a bit like tipping Secretariat in the Belmont Stakes or something like this. You can't claim too much fame off that, because Leap to Fame, as we know, is one of the best horses in the world. Swayze, one of the best horses in the world. Don Hugo is going to step up to that. It'd be interesting, though, if the Captain Ravishings and Catch a Waves can still do that, going a second and a half faster, what they did last week. Because it's going to be a strong horses race. I'm not to Catch a Wave's like a fantastic horse, but I just can't see anyone but the top three winning this race. That's Swayze, Don Hugo, Leap to Fame, and I'm going Leap to Fame. Back to back, he's already a champion. He's already one of the world's best horses. Does this put him into immortality range? If he wins this, I think he is.
Absolutely have to agree with you, Wano, there. What a race it's going to be. Race 8 is the multi-quip aggregate sapling stakes Group 3 level here for the 2-year-olds, and it's the first feature event for those juveniles this season, and it's one of my personal favourites where we get to see them. But what a field that we have lining up. There's 8 2-year-old winners set to contest this feature here, and in saying that, I think my top tip's going to come here from a horse that ran second on debut for Bernie Hewitt down there at Wagga in 154.8 Lexi. He's drawn barrier 1 there. It was such an impressive debut. He was just beat on the line, but in saying that, there's some really quality juveniles around him.
Yeah, look, and our friends at the TAB, when they put the markets out, which was great, they put all these markets out nice and early. Everyone's had a go. They put Lexi up at $21. Within about an hour or two, he was into $7. I think he's back out to $8 now. So there's a lot to say that he's a big chance in this. He got beat by a very, very good horse in a very, very fast time and just got beat. But I'm going to go with the horse that won here first up, Soho Majestic. Michael Stanley trains it very interesting. He's left Luke on this. So Soho Majestic won here in a 54, which is pretty good form going to this. But yeah, once again, show me the tan lines. No, I probably won't. But Adam Kelly, Kate Gath had a bit of an impression on this horse, and they paid a lot of money from New Zealand. But I'm going the 2 Soho Majestic.
Race 9 is the final event on the card. It's the Condell Park Produce Baby Bling Stakes here, and we get to see the mares take centre stage. I'll have a bubble. She's drawn barrier 1. She was the 2024 Club Menangle Horse of the Year, and then drawn out wider there in number 8 is I Keep Smiling. And this is a great field of mares, but last start, I Keep Smiling contested those Miracle Mile Sprint qualifiers.
Look, I'm going to jump ahead, and you're probably going to ask me later, but I'm going to do it now. Can I do it now?
Do it now.
Okay, I'm going to do it now. And my best bet on the night is number 8 in the last race, I Keep Smiling. She's raced in the sprints last week. She drops back about 1,000 grades. I know Tay and I Have a Bubbles and all them. They're there. Penday is going fantastic for Ricky and Ashley. But I Keep Smiling contest, and she was really, really competitive in that race. And the start before that, she beat all these by about 10 metres when she went to 49. So, yeah, I Keep Smiling, best bet of the night.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, the TAB have a very good offer currently sitting in their Menangle hub. So If you head to sports, then go into today's offers and scroll across until you find the Menangle Hub. There's a multi there called Double Dixon. That's a race 4, number 2, fadeaway to place, into race 7, number 8, leap to fame, a win. There's currently $4 on offer.
Oh, if I was a betting man, I'd be taking that because we've tipped them, Jess. So we've been very strong on fadeaways, and I think we've both tipped leap to fame. So $4. Geez, there's some good odds there they're offering from the TAB.
I know, Wano, you just mentioned your best bet there was a race 9, number 8, I Keep Smiling, and I've touched on mine earlier on in the show. Mine is a race 1, number 1. I just can't get over his sectionals from last week, and that's why I think Drawn Barrier 1, he's going to be too hard to beat in the opening event.
We've bookended the card, have we? Our best bets, races 1 and 9. How's that? Easy. You start winning and then you end the meeting winning.
Let's hope so.
Oh, well, no, it's a definite.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Well, Wano, this Saturday night on track, it's going to be an incredible night with iconic harness racing out there. But aside from the action on the track, we also have Thirsty Merc performing live, Fashions on the Field. There's $2,000 on offer for the best dressed lady and best dressed gentleman. So dress in your best racewear attire and head up there to the Fashions marquee to enter that.
I need to get my bell bottoms back out, do I?
Some very nice prizes on offer. We also have the We Are on Fire show, which I'm really excited to see. We haven't seen that on track yet, which is going to be very good. And we're also giving away $5,000 cash to one lucky patron. So to go into that draw, all you have to do is walk through those main entry gates, find one of the Club Menangle staff dressed in the Club Menangle silks, scan the QR code, enter that field, and you'll go straight into the running to win $5,000.
We are on fire? Is that what it's called?
We Are on Fire.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. We are on fire. Can't wait to see what that show's all about. But yeah, out there on the presentation deck, everyone get out there. There's so much entertainment here on Saturday night, and the weather is going to be good.
The weather's going to be great, not a doubt in my mind.
Track's fast. Jimmy's out there now grading the track. It'll be like a highway. You watch them.
There are still limited seats available in the Miracle Mile restaurant. Bookings close tomorrow, Friday, 12 p.m. So if you are wanting to get those seats up there in the restaurant, book them sooner rather than later, or else you may miss out.
Well, when you say there's limited, it's like 4.
So you could be one of the lucky 4 people.
Listen to this show and ring up.
We also have the Grey Goose Marquee. So that's the ultimate party location for those over 18 years of age. So you'll be able to buy those tickets on the night if you don't want to pre-book ahead, but that's going to be a great atmosphere. Bono, we've come to the end of our Garrard's Miracle Mile, the Menangle Angle preview. What a show it's been. It's been great speaking with Kate, Will and Freddie, and what a night it's going to be here on track on Saturday.
Yeah, looking forward to it so much. Can't wait for the night. Can't wait for the people to be here. It'll be a great atmosphere. And actually already looking forward to the show next week where we're going to sum up everything that happened, and hopefully we're talking about world records and amazing runs and maybe some of the greatest races we've ever seen. So, yeah, just looking forward to Saturday night. Can't wait for it to come around.
To all of our participants and connections out there on the track on Saturday night, we wish you the very best of racing luck. Yep. We can't wait to see the stars in action, and we'll catch you here at Club Menangle this Saturday night for the $1 million Garrard's Miracle Mile.
Be there.